What's going on, fam? It's your boy Benjamin Sexual
and Abundance Alex.
We're coming at you, and we're just living the best life we know how to.
Yeah, so we came together today just to do some content from our businesses, and then we figured, why don't we just fucking hop on the camera, hop on the mic, and maybe talk about something that's not as boring.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk about right now how much better it is to film content when you got a friend with you than doing it alone. Because usually I got the camera in my room alone, and that's just fucking kind of boring.
Yeah, I feel the same fucking way. Honestly, because I happen to know I'm a generator, right? So that's my human design, and I'm really good at responding to things. But when it comes to maybe doing like impromptu, like bullet point presentation, like it's so not natural for me. So like having another person there to kind of like riff off of is like, it's fucking priceless.
Very priceless. And it's fun, dude. We're having a blast out here. We're on the rooftop, as you can see. New York City's right there. It's a fucking beautiful day. I couldn't really ask for anything more. And I think this is something we're going to probably incorporate into our lives more with our businesses and personal brands, right? Content days.
Yeah, content days are going to be on Friday, so, right?
Yeah, Friday content days. So every Friday for the rest of our goddamn lives.
We're doing content, and you're going to love it.
Stay tuned for grandpa content. That'll be good, bro. We'll have probably PBRs in our hands, a dog, and each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, tight.
Yeah.
What else should we talk about?
I don't know. What do you guys want us to talk about?
Yeah, tell us. Tell us, damn it.
Yo, you know what? Let's circle it back to maybe a little bit about business. So you just started a business.
Oh yeah, I did, dude.
Yeah.
It's really exciting, actually.
Was it scary? Was it like just all excitement? Or like what was it like?
It's a little scary. So actually, this is a little vulnerable here. In July from the COVID, I got laid off my full-time job. But you know what? That was 5 years of my life where I learned a lot of lessons and appreciated the opportunities, but it just wasn't following my heart and my passions. So I always felt like I needed more. So once I got laid off, I decided, you know what, now's the time to pursue my dreams. And it just so happened in that whole mix, all the stars aligned and the right people came into play where I got to start the social media marketing company, BeYu Media. I also just discovered that my name is Ben Yurcisin. If you take the first two letters of each, it's BeYu. And my whole message has always been be authentic and build your own personal brand. So BeYu just is perfect. So it's very exciting. Also definitely scary because now there's no steady income anymore. I've always been a side hustler.
That's a big one.
Yeah, that's.
I hear that often, like honestly. So full transparency, I've been self-employed. I've been in the building your own business space for a little bit over 10 years. I think it was 2008, I incorporated my first business.
Wow. And
the way I kind of started to learn about marketing was actually being out there and trying to market businesses, which eventually led me naturally to branding. Because when you start to try to understand like why certain things aren't working, like it's always the brand that's the underlying foundational issue. So that's kind of what led me there. But I think it was 19 when I ripped my first business, and it completely failed. Flat on its face. I wasted about $2,000.
Hey, you learned. That was a $2,000 lesson, bro. No waste.
Yep. And then I ended up like grabbing a job at Olive Garden, and that was a blessing in disguise because
unlimited breadsticks,
and I was like I said, I was young, so I had to gain weight and calories. But I had a lot of opportunity to talk to people. As a server, you talk to people a lot, and I really discovered that I had a knack for just having conversations with people, and Olive Garden's all about upselling dishes. So I really learned that when you lay a foundation of who you are, then it's really easy to ask for the upsell, because you're not really like leaning on somebody and being like, buy this. You're simply asking them like, hey, do you want anything more? Because there's some things here that my boss wants me to upsell you, and if you want it, I would love to sell it to you. Oh, really? Yeah. I don't really want anything, Alex, but because it's you, I'll buy it.
Exactly.
And
so people buy you. People buy Alex.
Yeah, BeYu.
BeYu, exactly.
Yep.
It's not, because a lot of people have the same services, and at the end of the day, people are going to buy your product because it's you and they trust you, and you built that foundation of trust. So I think I have at least like a little bit of a leg up on that with the tech meetup I've been running for the past 2 years.
100%.
I feel like I've built a community and audience, so it's now like, hey guys, I'm doing this thing, so if you've been supporting me all along, now I can really use your support and trust.
100%. Actually, if you're watching this and you're from the tech meetup community, why don't you drop a comment below and let us know what you love about Ben?
Oh my God, thank you. And also, if you're from the abundance community, why don't you drop a comment and let us know what you love about Alex? And then we'll drop in our own comments what we love about each other and ourselves, because self-love is critical.
Yeah.
Don't ever forget that.
That is critical, and that kind of that I guess that ties into like, you know, when you launched your business, and I know when I launched my business, you know, like I think what's allowed me to stay resilient is kind of like my frame around failure, which you picked up on actually. You know, I said that the business failed, but, you know, ultimately I picked up again and started another business.
Right.
Right? And I did take the lessons that I learned from the failure of the first business. And one of those major lessons was that the Yellow Pages doesn't work.
And you don't waste your time in the second one.
Yeah, so, you know, that's ultimately, like, back in that, at that time, you know, digital was basically websites. Like, yeah, you know, there was definitely some paid stuff going on, but it was all so new, and like I wasn't diving into it back then, but it was kind of like, you know, it was a big thing to like have a website, you know, and that's kind of how I started getting my feet wet with that too, honestly. Absolutely. It was on my second business, so we ended up putting up a website, and the second business also failed.
I have businesses that failed too. I have the Fun Finders businesses where it all started, the entrepreneur journey for me. It failed, but every person I met along the way is what guided me to where I am today. Like, if I didn't start that business that is nothing now, then I would never have gotten in touch with the people where I got to work on the tech meetup and meet all these great people. So it's really community, and like your network is so huge. That's why I'm so happy to do networking events every month. And we met through a networking event.
We did. We met through Selena.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Selena. We love you too. And just like, yeah, dude, just like everywhere you go, like, and then that takes your life as a spider web, like out another level, like, you know, through the men's work we do in the men's group, Modern Renaissance Men. It's a beautiful thing. And now I feel like I'm scared because it's different for me with no steady income, but at the same time, I feel very confident knowing that I have this huge support system, which I felt I never really had before with the other things I was working on. Now it's like, I can't fail because I have so many people by my side supporting me, and yeah, dude. So that's really critical.
And that's a perfect segue to abundance talk. What you're bringing up ultimately is critically important in abundance mindset. When you start coming to the table and allowing that fear to really, you know, overtake your thinking, it starts to manifest in your reality. You know?
Right.
So really doing the work, which we're both doing when we've been consistently doing the work internally to really hone and craft an abundance mindset, right? So that we're able to see the opportunities that are right in front of us, because ultimately everybody can start a business. The opportunities are right in front of you, as we've been leading on to here, is that people ultimately buy from you, BeYu Media, Abundance Alex. That's who people buy from. They buy from us because it comes down to know, liking, and trusting, right? And when people know, like, and trust you, they will buy just about anything for you. So whatever product idea that you have, as long as you have an audience and a community that believes in you and that trusts you, you're able to offer it up to them, and some of them will buy it from you. Now that's just a foundation, right? Like eventually you get to scaling something that really resonates with the masses, right? But everything ultimately starts with a brand, with a personal brand, and you are your personal brand.
Exactly.
That's who you are.
And I think a lot of people, that's kind of is a great point, and that reminds me, like, a lot of people, I think, just rush into business. You're just rushing to make clients and do all these things, but they don't take the time to do the self-work and actually grow themselves. And they say, you know, I'll be abundant one day when I have 100 clients. I'll be abundant when I'm making millions of dollars. And when there's people who say, I'll be happy when, when you get there, that mark has already moved, and you're chasing something that's impossible
Constantly
to ever
moving.
reach.
Yeah, so if you're always trying to get there.
Exactly. That's people with a deficit mindset. You could be living in a cardboard box on the side of the street and be abundant, bro.
Absolutely, 100%.
So it's about finding abundance where you are now. Like, now I'm in the beginning stages of starting a business and this journey in my life, but I feel so grateful and like I have everything I need in my life, and I'm happy. And if you're doing the self-work, this helps you realize that. So, you know, meditation, the ice plunges, you know, men's work if you're a man, women's work if you're a woman, just inner work. These things help you find the potential and the power within to actually accomplish your goals, rather than just rush into the races and hustle. And
Yeah,
you gotta take care of yourself, and that'll show itself in your business.
Also take care of your community, because that shit comes right back to you every single time. You know, like your community will take care of you, you take care of them, and that shit goes round and round and round and round. And that's what Abundance Alex is all about. It's a community of abundant people, and what's interesting is that more of the people have been falling into the community now are super abundant in their mindset. It really resonates with other abundant people, and that ultimately makes me feel even more abundant than how I felt before. Because I mean, like, there's an infinite possibility with abundance, right? Like, sure, I feel super abundant, like, at this point, but I could be more abundant, and I'll keep going.
I'll keep going. And those things will keep coming. Once you're abundant now, you realize the rest of it just automatically comes and manifests. People who are like, I don't have this shit, I don't have this, you just never get it because you're doing self-fulfilling prophecy.
Who knows? Like, this is the beginning of something, but I mean, shit, just like I started my first business years ago, ended up 5 businesses later, I land on something that, is the intersection of skill and passion, but it took me 5 businesses to get there. In fact, I buried myself in 6 years of work doing a business that was profitable, that, gave me financial stability and security, but drained the hell out of me emotionally. I mean, like, it wasn't where my passion was, and given that I was really good at it, I kept
that makes it harder to leave.
It made it really hard to leave, actually. It made it really hard
because you feel like I don't want to have wasted all that time that I built the skills to get to where I am. Now it'll be a waste if I go. But once people learn that it's all lessons and nothing is a waste, then you can walk away from that and feel good about it.
The sunk cost fallacy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, it's like that. The last 5 years, like, I was doing something, and it was just like you go there every day. It's so much time. It's too much time to spend on something you don't have passion for. It's just too much time, and like, I feel the freest I've ever felt in my life now that I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm like, dude, passion. We can do what I want. We get to go to the spa on Thursdays if we want, beach, whatever. We pick your weekends. It's just a beautiful lifestyle.
Let me ask you something. Well, I guess it was a little bit different, but like, if COVID-19 didn't happen, do you think that you would have left?
Eventually, I would have. That's always been in the back of my head as I'm leaving. But it's like the plan was basically I would leave once I'm making enough money on the side that I could sustain myself with. So who knows how long that would have taken. And I might have spent another 5 years. Already felt to me like I spent too much time doing something I don't love. So it's like I was going to wait for the right time when I was making the right money. Maybe we'd never get there. I don't know. But with this leap, I was forced to. Now it's like, now I fast track this path, and I'm just happy it happened.
I remember one thing that we were talking about was, you didn't want to burn bridges.
Yeah.
And that was like a big block. Like, oh well, if I leave, I don't want to let people down.
Exactly.
I hear that wholeheartedly. I've definitely been in the same situation, and every time I've penetrated that kind of mental block, I've always been surprised how much support I've received, from those people that I was afraid to like let down. You know what I mean?
As long as you do it with respect and integrity, that's what it comes down to. Like, you just follow your heart and do it with the respect and integrity, then you can't fail.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and most importantly, with integrity to yourself.
Exactly.
Right. I think integrity sometimes could be better defined because sometimes it's like defined by external factors rather than like internal factors. But really making sure that you stay in integrity with yourself, make sure you stay in your own truth. It all plays out, because even if someone gets mad in the moment, like 9 times out of 10, like a year or 2 later,
it's all good, bro.
Hey, Abundance Alex.
I was wondering if...
I see you're crushing it. Maybe we should get a drink and talk and catch up. It's been a while. Yeah, absolutely. Every time. Every time.
And it's just like, you can't be scared to burn bridge. Like, I think it's always important to follow your truth, right? You got to follow your truth. If there's something that doesn't feel right, don't be scared to stay because you're worried to hurt someone's feelings. As long as, the way you can leave and follow your truth, but the way you leave, that's what will not burn a bridge, right? So as long as you're not just like all of a sudden not showing up anymore or just like kind of flaking.
Right.
If you have that important conversation, maybe it's uncomfortable to have, but you say, hey, I just need to follow my heart and go in this other direction.
That's a respect component.
It's respect. And then if they get mad at that point, now that's not my problem anymore. I've done what I need to do to be being of integrity to myself and respect them. So now sometimes you can't control it.
Sayonara!
Sayonara, bitches!
No, yeah, it's huge. Another huge one, too, is the financial stability component of it. And, I think this is something that a lot of people have to assess on like an individual one-to-one basis, depending if you have a family or if you're completely single. But like when I was by myself, right, it was so easy for me to be scrappy. It was so easy to be scrappy. I could care less if I downgraded to a box. Like,
Exactly.
honestly, I could
It's
care
just
less.
you. Yeah, I guess that's
Because it was just me, right? Like, you know, I had nothing to worry about. You know, fast forward, the biggest challenge that was a new challenge with starting my current business, Qualified, was that I had a family. I had mouths to feed, right? So that brought a whole new component to it. It brought other people's concerns into it as well.
Right.
You know, which was a whole new level of leadership, a whole new level of empathy, and a whole new level of strategy too, like completely different. And one thing that is always funny to me, you know, because I guess more or less because I can look back on it, you know, and have transcended it, is that, you know, like, you run out of money, Ben. You're fine, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you go live back at your parents' house.
Yeah,
you
like
know what I
worst
mean?
case
Like,
scenario.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
like, if you really have to run up the debt,
I'm not gonna die. That's what I always tell myself. I'm not gonna die.
You're not gonna die. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's gonna be a little bit of a, you know, stain on the shirt. You
Yeah.
know? Like, it's a little shitty to be like, hey, mom and dad.
Yeah, exactly.
You
But
know,
I won't die. Like, so there's no real worry here.
I'm fucking up, but I'm not. I swear. you
And
know?
just I'll get so much more done if I can just go to the basement and just let me just chill there. I'll
It's
make
$100,000 of debt. It's no big deal.
you guys can help me out, right?
But really, it's no big deal because, you know,
Because it's all good.
it's all good, number one. Number two, I've dug myself huge debt holes and dug myself right out. And it's
How did you do that? How did you get out of it?
just continuously working and continuously putting in the quote-unquote work, not necessarily hard work, but the thoughtful work as to refining the process, refining the service offering, refining the audience, really understanding what the customer needs, right? Everything comes down to understanding what the customer needs is for business, right?
Right.
Like you are in service to customers, right? So after you build a loyal audience, after you have a community that you can offer services to, you really have to tap that community and say, hey, what is it that you need? Is there a problem in your life, in your business, or whatever that, you know, I can look at and then I can examine and I can try to solve for you at a reasonable price, something that would be cheaper for me to do than for you to do.
Right.
You know, and that's when you really start to get traction. And then you start to bring in efficiency, right? And this is the part of the game that I actually hate. I'm really not one to try to get super efficient. I'm more of an innovator.
Right.
I like to try new ideas. I like to, you know, look at problems from different perspectives and different angles and see how I can attack them in a new way, rather than taking something that is already there and done, you know, and just trying to, like, you know, shed some dead weight, I guess you could say, or just make it a little faster, a little cheaper. But that's what business is.
These things save time. Those are critical too. And another thing that saves time I've learned is not trying to figure everything the fuck out yourself. Not just trying to be like, yo, I could do this. That's pride and that's ego. Sometimes you got to put that shit aside and think of the friends you have that are experts in this shit
100%.
and figure it out. Like, I've called you before when I'm like, yo, I'm dealing with this marketing problem. I'm not really sure what to do.
Yeah.
And we just kind of jam it
Yeah,
out. And then,
100%.
you know, I learn more, and then I become more of that to the people around me who need my help. You know, people need help with, like, running events and stuff like that. That's something I'm an expert at, so I can help people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about, you know, knowing what you're good at and not trying to spend all these wasted hours learning something that you could just call your buddy and have a 10-minute conversation to
100%.
figure out.
It's
That's been huge for me.
Crazy, because, like, the telepathy that just went down.
You were going to say that too?
I was gonna say the same thing, but I don't know, man. This might turn into something.
Gut guys. Dude, gut guys, bro.
Yeah,
Tell
dude.
about gut guys.
You talking about gut guys?
Gut guys, yeah. Gut guys are Abundance Alex, and Benjamin Sexual. We're two dudes who always say, you know, we follow our gut, and that's what's gotten to where we are today. And it always leads us in the right direction, and it's bringing us happiness and joy and a life of abundance.
Yeah.
Not, you know, obviously you got to incorporate logic into it because that's a part of life and business, and you got to think through things strategically. But ultimately, we drive from our intuition and what's on the inside, because we both have very, very strong intuitions, and we both kind of agree on a lot of things, if not everything. So at the end of the day, we just say, you know, we're the gut guys. And I'm sorry, applications are closed. No one is in that. It's me, Ben and Alex are gut guys.
It's it.
Gut guys are over. It's this. And this is it forever.
Gutguys.com.
Gutguys.com. Oh, don't go to gutguys.org.
Benjamin Sexual.
Abundance Alex.
Yeah, no, you're spot on, dude. And, like, I think in the evolution of starting a business, the the next obstacle that everybody kind of runs into is building a team.
That's something I stress about for my future because I haven't done that yet. But I'm always thinking like, how the fuck do I do this? So give us some bit of guidance on that, bro.
Let me tell you, I've probably hired about 70 people in the past 10 years, and out of those 70 people, I would say about 15 of them were really good hires. So the one thing that I can say is the only real way that you get good at building a team is by doing it. You know, you can kind of read a lot about it, you know, and you can kind of, you know, talk to a lot of people about it, but in the end of the day, it really comes down to like doing it, you know, and you are going to make mistakes, right? Tip number one, be in your truth, be in your integrity, right? Respect is huge, right? If you have to fire someone, do it in a way that's respectable, be very clear and transparent about it, and make it quick.
Yeah, it burns otherwise too long. You're just like, oh,
it hurts for all parties. It's not a fun thing to do.
And I think it's good. I mean, I haven't done that, but I think it's good to provide some feedback so they can feel like they have a takeaway of things they can work on to be better in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't do that. I don't like to provide feedback because I kind of think they should kind of think about it themselves, you know, and like, you know, mull it over, you know, what it is. But ultimately what I found in the end of the day is that there were very few people that I had to fire for just pure, like negligence, you know what I mean?
Right.
There were some people, you know, one example is one of my old company was a historical restoration company, and I had a guy 40 feet on the roof one day, and no matter how much supervision I put on him, no matter how much I asked him to put his safety harness on, he simply neglected to put it on because he was a macho guy. He didn't
can't have that, bro. You got someone dying on your watch if that happens.
I mean, I'm just like, dude, like, it's not even about you, dude. Like, you know, like,
it's about protecting you and the business, the whole business.
It's just pure negligence that I couldn't have. So that guy was fired at the end of the day. Like, you know, like after honestly, I probably could have fired him a day earlier because like it was really just like what? But you know, everybody else, it was just not the right fit. Right. So it was just not a cultural fit.
Sometimes you can't know that until you try hiring them. You can only learn so much from the interview. You got to take a leap of faith.
You got to take a leap of faith. It's always good to let people know that there's a trial period, right? But I think that the biggest North Star you can follow is really being clear on what your vision is, what the company values are, right? And conduct the interview around the values of that person. The other thing, too, is definitely vet who they are. Like, get references and try to have conversations with them, professional and personal as well. You know, you really want to get a sense of character.
That's what it comes down to. Two questions for you. One is, when is the right time to start hiring as far as, like, revenue and, like, when you're making a certain amount when you hire? Two is, where do you go for hiring needs? Like LinkedIn, or do you use, like, Indeed, something like that? Yeah,
good question. So first answer to that is when you can afford it. So you look at if you have money that you can burn through, and so much of it is allocated to payroll, then you can start hiring like right out of the gate. You want to make sure you can pay people because you have to think about the fact that they've got rent.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they got a phone bill. They may have a family. They may, you know, they have all these things. So. Money is absolutely has to happen. It has to be in that conversation, you know. And if you're not going to offer money, you got to be pretty clear and transparent as to like when you are going to start offering money. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I've definitely brought people on without paying them, and I've been very transparent about it and been like, look, like, you know, we've got one project. You know, can you afford doing a project for free? You know?
Right. Make sure it's worth it for them.
Right, exactly. And try to mitigate the risk between the two of you that way if it's like some kind of collaboration. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of people will do 1099s that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to do.
Yeah, with 1099s, you know, it's always like, all right, so 1099 always wants to get paid. Understandably so, right? But like, how do I know, right, that the work quality is going to be what I need? I got to do a trial run with you. I got to either do like a low-cost project where like I'm not losing any money on it, right? And I can completely break even on it and it doesn't matter, right? And I can kind of figure out if I can give you more work, or you gotta take on that risk and prove that you're worth
paying.
You're worth paying. Yeah, exactly. So it I don't know. That kind of gets a little bit outside of the feel good space, but that's kind of like the the reality of like profit driven decision making.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's definitely a balance.
Yeah. And where do you find the people?
Social media, personal network. A lot of the times people reach out to me, to be honest with you. So that kind of is the power of like a personal brand.
Yeah, personal brand is killer.
Personal brand is huge. Yeah, and then just like asking people, like, hey, do you know anybody who can do this? Do you know anybody who can do that? Whatever it is, and just put the feelers out. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I mean, I've used ZipRecruiter. I've used what's the other big online one?
So it's like Indeed,
Monster. Yeah, I've used all of
guys.
them. Like, yeah, sure, you get a lot of like inbounds, but like, I don't know. You got to
just walk throughout the street, hand out flyers. You want a job? You want a job?
Honestly, networking events.
Networking events, bro.
Networking events.
That's why no matter what business I have, I'm always gonna run the tech meetup because that for me is just invaluable. Like, and I have fun doing them, and that's just like, you keep meeting new people, and then you find the people who can help you with the things you need to. Surround yourself with good ass people.
Yeah.
Like this guy. So, bro, why don't we close out with 3 takeaways that you want people to know from Abundance Alex, and they don't necessarily need to be what you talked about now. Just anything about self-growth, business, anything like that.
Yeah. One takeaway is learn to zoom out. A lot of times we can get quite myopic, and we can be really very present in the moment. There's nothing wrong with presence, but you can be overwhelmed with a lot of emotions. So learn to zoom out. That'll be number 1. Your abundance becomes very clear when you're able to zoom out. Another takeaway about what? Abundance Alex?
Just anything. Anything. Business or personal branding. This is open forum.
Yeah. Another takeaway would be.
Do you want to go back and forth? Do you want me to do one? We can back and forth so you have time to think about it?
I got one right now, actually. Breathwork. Breathwork has been a game changer for me. Learning to be the alchemist of yourself. And breathwork will teach you how to alchemize yourself and change your state. Tony Robbins.
Yes.
What's the third one?
I'll do 2, and then we'll both drop our 3.
You go. I got one.
All right. So for me, I'm going to start with my first being the most important and the most heavily weighted, and this I feel like is like my message of life as BeYu. I say no matter what, always be authentic to who you are. You might be different from the rest. You might say this isn't what my competitors are doing, blah, blah, blah. But what you being authentic and you being true to yourself is going to do 2 things. It's going to set you apart and make you unique and individual. And it's going to make you content and happy in your body and soul because you're going to feel like you're following your truth.
Damn.
So always be authentic. That's a key takeaway here. And then I'll drop a second one, then you can do your third and I'll do my third. My second one would be surround yourself with people that help you break free from the own trap you put yourself in.
People who love you.
People who love you, people who support you and have your back. Because, the self-doubt comes up. The lack of confidence, that comes up. But if you're surrounded by great people who support you and believe in you, they will lift you back up when you fall and help you get to your goals no matter what. You can't always do everything on your own. People try to do everything on their own. Have a support system.
100%. Yeah, number 3 for me is if you want to be really good friends with Abundance Alex, feed Abundance Alex. For real though, and that kind of like, goes back to my understanding of human nature and branding, to break bread with people, to share a meal, to really dive in and, have good conversations. A lot of the times that happens over the dinner table, you really get to learn about people and you really get to deepen a relationship through sharing a meal, and if there's, cultural forces, you get to learn about the other person's culture, you get to show about your own culture. And character comes through when people are eating. So it's a really great way to, solidify a bond and understand somebody.
I couldn't agree with that more. I love breaking bread with people. I feel like that really just takes it to the next level.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
Sharing a meal, it's a beautiful
Well,
thing.
we both like really hot, spicy food. So
Yeah, so we'll break bread. We didn't eat spicy food yet. We will
Yeah, we
though.
will.
I think we're gonna eat some. We're gonna break bread tonight. Have some yum yums.
over some spicy food.
Oh yeah. But all right, my last thing is have fun and enjoy the fucking ride. Don't be working 24/7, 7 days a week. People think, I gotta hustle, get it faster. If you're just having that mindset, you're always gonna be in that mindset, and you're never gonna stop to smell the roses and enjoy life. So I find it's very critical to set literally scheduled time to have fucking fun with people that matter to you and enjoy your life. Because that's what it's all about. You can't just be grinding. You're going to burn yourself out. Enjoy life and have fun.
That's a really good one.
Word. Well, on that note, I wanted to say, it's all good, okay? No matter what, it's all good.
It's all good, baby. It's all good.
But for real, bro, great conversation, dude. I love you, bro.
Tune in next time.
Tune in next time, because there will be one soon. Sick, dude. You forgot to press record.